Hi, my name is Garry Dallas from Simply Side Mount and Simply Tech. I'm here at Blue Hour Diving Club near Palermo in Sicily. And what a beautiful location it is. We just got an overcast day, but we're doing great. So I wanted to talk about NAUTEC valves and what makes NAUTEC valves so different. Well, it's all down to the internals. Obviously, everybody looks at the valves on the outside and they look like a very special, different, military, robust-looking valve. But actually, it's the internals and what it's made of that make the valve so different. Let's look at the first part. So these valves are 300 bar rated at nitrox level. So if you're going to use nitrox or oxygen, they are rated to 300 bar. And the reason why is because not only just because of the way it's manufactured, but they have to use a grease which is called Glide Mode 599. And this grease is very specific to this valve. And the reason being is because this grease is rated to 450 bar of pressure at 60-degree temperature. Now, not only Celsius, so not only is it such a good grease to use at such extreme pressure and temperatures, but the rate at which that it evaporates is so negligible that it has a long-lasting use, and it's extremely good for us as divers. So you have the Glide Mode 599 oxygen grease, which means that when it's put together at such extremely low tolerances, this makes the valve perfect for use, and it is basically oxygen ready, oxygen clean, ready for use in unused packaging or unused condition in brand new packaging. And this way it is ready for us to use for any diving that we want to use in our cylinders to 300 bar of pressure. Okay, so the next thing to look at is the actual body and the internals. So they're made from a special brass alloy, and the alloy being made of zinc, copper, and not lead. Lead is normally used in brass, but for the NAUTEC valves, they use silicon instead of lead, which is a damn sight harder and more durable. So therefore, the complete composite of the internals and the body of the valve is so much better than we could want to expect. So with it being made from lead-free materials, it's so much stronger. And this way we have a much more durable valve, not only just for the outside and the external part of the valve, but also for the spindle. So the spindle made of this special brass alloy has a hexagonal fitting, which is different to other valves that are used where they have a spade connection.
Well, I think everybody is familiar with the common way to make seats and
spade connection, yeah.
And of course, if you're applying high torque, this seat, is a critical part. It may break. So I said to myself, well, why not just take an Miller hex inside and connect it with the Allen key. Or Allen key type of spindle.
Yeah.
We have tested this here at BOM, and you are able to apply 80% more torque to it than to a common spindle.
And the spade connection between the external spindle and the valve seat, the high pressure valve seat, means it's not going to be affected by any kind of hard turns that are not affected by any heavy usage. So NAUTEC valves uses a hexagonal fitting between the spindle and the high pressure seat, which means it's a much more streamlined guidance and makes sure that the valve seat is actually seating itself more accurately than other valves have done in the past. So normally a spade connection is used, and the spade connection is a little bit less accurate. So with the hexagonal components that are being used, it means that you can apply 80% more force or more torque on the valve wheel than in previous systems that use a spade connection, and this is really great. The valves are actually tested like 2,000 times for the BAM, which is the Federal Institute of Material Testing in Berlin. It's a company that does all the harsh condition testing for the valves. So for this standard, which is one of the 100 highest standards around the world, the valve is tested to 2,000 times of opening and closing at a torque of like 4.6 Newton meters. And these specific criteria makes the valve much more durable and is shown in the testing. Many moons ago, when I finished college, I started working in a laboratory, and one of my roles was to test the composites of this special plastic that we use for bone hip replacements. And surprisingly, here I am many years later, and we are now using the same material as the high pressure seat, which is far more durable than the nylon that is more commonly used. So nylon doesn't stand too much with the heat and force. And the force is basically your hand movement when you close a valve off, or indeed even open it. And because we never know how it's going to open until it stops, and then we have to move the valve back a little bit, and then with the fingertips keep it to the fully open position. Without any digging in. This, with the NAUTEC valves, the composite that they use for the high pressure seat is far more durable than the nylon. So what that means is that during the BAM testing, where they open and close the valve 2,000 times to test the operation and how well it performs at obviously a different temperature of like 60 degrees centigrade. This is particularly important for us because we're never going to use it to that extreme level anyway. I've been using these valves now for quite some time, for several years, and in this time, when my valve's been serviced, it's in absolutely perfect condition. Which means that for me, as a peace of mind, was as I'm diving in open water, doing deep dives and cave dives, I'm actually very confident with the valves that I'm using, and you would be too. NAUTEC valves actually, I've been told by NAUTEC valves that they would be happy to guarantee the valves for 10, 15, 20 years. In fact, they had a customer recently who came back after having purchased a valve 20 years ago, an older model, and they've come back and had asked for a service to be done and been using it for 20 years all the time. So it's good to know that from this point of view that using the valves and the way they've been manufactured, it just gives a hell of a lot of confidence in the equipment that we're using, especially for me. The valve seat itself is made from this special composite, which allows the valve seat to be cut into it so many times that it makes sure that you get a good seal without any leaks. So, perfect. So one of the subjects that people like to talk about is safety, but it's kind of like one of the most boring subjects. But in actual fact, the whole consideration for a valve is based on all of these elements, the qualities of a product that makes it safe. And for me, all of these qualities that I've talked about, the internals, the workings of the valve, are what make the valve an extremely safe German engineering at its best.